Howdy folks. If you are wondering what is a recorded live stream, don't worry, I just made this up. One thing I never liked about live streams is that they stream in very low video quality and very low frames per second. And then you make a live stream about a beautiful reel, but people can't really see anything. So what I do instead is I record my live stream in high definition and high frames per second, and then I publish it just as I recorded it without any cuts or editing. But you can, see the reel in full HD and high frames per second. So this is what we are going to be looking at in this video. This is Luvias ST SF 1000 SP. Let me show you the box very quickly, and you can freeze the video and look at the statistics if they're of interest to you. You cannot believe how many people email me or send me messages. How much line can this reel or that reel take? First of all, I don't care about line capacity. The only thing that I care less about is the drag. Drag power and line capacity, don't email me, do not care. Every reel on the market has more line capacity and more drag that I need. But okay, freeze here and read up. Hey, how about this? 4.6 to 1. How about this? But yeah, freeze here, read up. And this is the reel that I will show you today. By the way, let me move the screen a little bit. I have 3 other reels to compare it with. This is the little sister Luvias. This is the big sister Luvias. They're both vanilla. No, that's the vanilla Luvias. This is the Presso Luvias. This is the old Presso Luvias. And this is the king of all ultralight reels. So we're gonna quickly kind of not compare, because this is not a review. Read the title. I don't know what the title is, but the title will say something like just first view, and I will just show you some things in this video. There will be no recommendations, opinions, anything like that, because I need to fish with the reel, I don't know, at least a month. So the full review will come like a month from now, but I know people are itchy and eager and don't want to wait a month, so I will just show you the reel. Okay, so it looks exactly as the big sister, the vanilla Luvias. This one has a silver handle. Did I put the silver handle? I don't remember. No, I think that's the original handle. I don't remember. I change handles and knobs all the time. But this one does come with a black handle and the ugly, uncomfortable knob that they put on all Presso reels. This is the old Presso. It came with the exact same knob, but I replaced it because it feels too much like a circle. I'm going on these tangents and I lose so much time, but when my fingers grab it, sometimes they grab it like this. Sometimes my fingers grab it like this, and it's not obvious how did they grab it. I don't want to rotate like this. So I like small knobs, but they have to be flat. You cannot have the depth of the knob to be almost as much as the width of the knob. They have to be flat, so I replace these with flat knobs. But where to start? First thing that I noticed, first of all, I want to thank, I'm not gonna say his name, but I want to thank the person from Japan who went to a store and inspected the reel for me before buying it and shipping it to me to make sure I get a good reel. The reel feels very nice. Just no scratching, no sound, no noise. I believe this is as good of a specimen that you can get if you buy this particular reel. So thank you very much. Not gonna say your name, but I do appreciate your effort, and the rest of you, note that your mileage may vary. You can get one with a little bit of noise. That's not the end of the world. After 3 months, they're all gonna have noise anyway. Don't get depressed about that. That said, even though it's quiet and smooth and all of that, I observe the exact same thing that I observe with all other spinning reels, which is, I don't know why my nose is so itchy right now, and I have to scratch it. But what I observe with all spinning reels is that the smaller size never feels as perfectly buttery as the larger size. Every reel, no exception, this is not a manufacturing defect. This is a physics limitation. Because if you have 1/1000th of a millimeter imperfection, you are not gonna feel, and this is the limitation of your manufacturing hardware, you are not gonna feel 1/1000th of a millimeter imperfection in the larger reel, because everything is so large. So 1/1000th of millimeter on a 40 millimeter gear is a smaller proportion than 1/1000th of a millimeter on a 30 millimeter gear. So all of these reels, the smaller one never feels as, even when they're both quiet and they're both perfect. I would give both of these reels 10 out of 10 in terms of manufacturing quality. They have 0 defects. They are as good as the factory can make them. But the smaller reel never feels as good, as perfectly buttery as the larger sister. I noticed this with the Arities. I noticed this with the brand new twin power that I showed you. The 4000 sizes, oh my God, these reels, it's like they have an engine block that is full of oil. They are just liquid inside. Then I got the 2000 size. Again, perfect reel. I want to thank the person who sent me that reel as well. No noise, no scratching, just nothing. It's a perfect reel. Nothing to complain, but not as perfectly buttery smooth as the bigger sister. Keep this in mind if you are on the edge sometimes deciding between the sizes. Like, I fish mostly for black bass and white bass, and my crappie is big. Do I really need to buy the 500 size? Or can I go with the larger size? Keep this in mind. So for those of you who don't know yet, I've mentioned in other videos, but SF on this reel, excuse me, people are messaging me right now. Oh, stop it. Yeah, this will be a live stream. The SF letters, this is unethical marketing gimmick. There is nothing SF. SF stands for nothing. SF designates 500 size body and nothing else, and nothing else, and nothing else. Don't listen to Daiwa, or definitely don't listen to YouTube experts. SF stands for 500 size. We already have 500 size. Why don't you put 500 size? The only difference between the two reels, if it wasn't for the ST letter, forget the ST. Just think for a second that there is no ST. Let's say it's just Luvias SF, which does exist. The only difference would be that this reel has 1000 size body and this reel has 500 size body. And when you have 500 size body, you can see the, what size is this? Now, this spool is 2000 size, but if I get a 1000 size spool, this one here is 1000, I believe, yep. you can see the spools have the same diameter with the old Presso. The spools have the same diameter, but the body is smaller. So when you get the SF1000, SF stands for 500 size body. So you're getting 500 size body reel with 1000 size spool. And when you have the small body, the S-shape guide for the locomotive oscillation is smaller because everything is smaller. And when the S-shape part is smaller, the spool cannot travel up and down as much. So even though these two spools are the same diameter, which is designated by the 1000 size on the spool, you can see the depth is different. This spool will be shallower just because the main shaft has no space to travel inside. There is not enough space to travel up and down. This is not a decision to reduce weight or for better performance or anything like that. It has to be smaller because there is no space because of the smaller body. But my question is, why did you have to say SF when if you wanted to go with letters, we already have letters that designate the small body. What about the letter C? What is C2500S? C2500S is spool that has 2500 size, a reel that has 2500 size spool, but the body is one size smaller. They say compact. Well, this is what this is. It should have been named C1000S. This is what the proper model number should have been, but I spent 5 minutes on something so stupid, but it may help some people realize what they're buying. Don't go for the marketing gimmicks. Now, the other two letters, while I'm here, the ST letters actually are important. Change of marketing strategy again. Every new generation, Daiwa releases a new marketing strategy. But Daiwa sells two Luvias, folks. One Luvias, if it has no letters in the name, ST or SF or anything like that, if it's just Luvias, plain Luvias, which this is the reason why I call this vanilla Luvias, because it's just so plain, no exotic flavor, just vanilla is the most trivial flavor. There is no letters, no nothing. I call them vanilla Luvias. But if it has no letters around the Luvias, it means that it has mag seal on the main shaft and grease on the bearings, which means better protection for the reel, but more resistance. And if you fish for bass or larger lures, the resistance might not be a problem. You might not even feel it because you're already pulling a ½ ounce jig. What difference does a little oil on the main shaft make to you? None. But on these tiny reels, resistance, because we're pulling a 1 gram jig and we have a lot of stop and go when we twitch, stop and go, the resistance can be quite annoying. So the other type of Luvias that Daiwa makes is kind of performance oriented, and the not the durability, but the protection is sacrificed. So no oil here on the main shaft, and on the bearings, instead of grease, here they put oil, which makes less resistance than the grease. So less protection, but better performance, lower resistance. Now this kind of Luvias, more performance, less protection, used to be called Presso. For several generations, they would call this kind of Luvias presso. It was still a Luvias inside, but unlike the regular Luvias, this one was the performance model. It was called presso. So the name presso began to designate performance for Daiwa, the performance division of like the cars. You know how every car has a Mercedes, they have like performance division. But now they don't call this Luvias presso. No, that's the big sister. This one is Luvias ST. This should have been called a presso Luvias because the manufacturing approach is the same. Reduce the protection, improve the performance. So this, if this was released 3-4 years ago, would have been called presso. But they didn't want to use the colors and they're getting ready for a different presso. That's a topic for another video. So they decided, even though this is a presso Luvias, to just call it ST. Sensitive tune, schmensitive tune. I hate these gimmicks. Actually, this one is kind of appropriate. You can say sensitive tune, but what does it mean? What does sensitive? You replace one term with another term, but you are still sitting on the same spot. You didn't move forward towards clarification at all. What is sensitive tune? Well, no oil here, no grease here, less protection, more performance. That's what you get with a presso Luvias or ST Luvias. So, okay, at least now you know what you're buying. Smaller body, shorter spool, supposedly no resistance. Now, I'm gonna spin this reel faster. This is only 4.6 gear ratio. So this is as low of a resistance as you can get using a gear. But this reel, can you tell how abruptly it stops? This reel has some brakes. This reel is not completely brakeless. Something is stopping this reel. I don't know what, I haven't opened it. The resistance is before you run and say, oh no, that's disappointing. The resistance is still very low. I can go tomorrow, twitch 1 gram trout magnet with it, with a smile on my face, enjoying the chirp of the birds and the, white clouds in the sky, how happy I am to be alive and to do what I'm doing, and I will never notice this extra resistance. It's completely acceptable. It's totally fine. Don't get too hung up on this kind of little things. But the resistance is here. There is some kind of brakes. I don't know if it's just grease. I don't believe in grease. So this reel has to be opened. The Russians will disassemble it soon. I will see it there. Now, because my reel is perfectly quiet and perfectly smooth, I will not disassemble it for at least 1 year. When it starts to make noises, then I open them. Because, folks, if you can open a reel completely and put it back together, you are a better, mechanic or service guy than I am. If I open this reel and change nothing, and put it back together, it will not feel the same. And to tell you the truth, all of these YouTubers who open them and close them, if they tell you that the reels feel exactly the same after they close them, you might believe them, but I don't. Because there are reels that I know inside and out so good, I can draw the schematics on a paper. I know everything in the Shimano Vanford reels. This is the one reel that I have opened hundreds of times. I know everything. But when I open and close a brand new perfect Vanford, doesn't feel the same. And I'm not opening this reel as long as it feels smooth and quiet like this. But there are breaks somewhere. Now the brakes are, so this is the ST version, this is not the ST, this is the vanilla. The big sister is the vanilla Luvias, the small sister is the Presso Luvias. So this one does have a little bit more resistance as you would expect, but you know, after some fishing, I have to admit I might have been a little overly harsh towards the resistance. The resistance in this reel is not bad. I can fish with this reel happily with 1 gram trout magnet. As a matter of fact, I did yesterday. I caught some bluegill and some very black crappie with this reel, twitching the 125-10. Yeah, okay, there is some resistance. It's not like the, for example, this is better in terms of resistance, but it doesn't bother me. And after I fished it even just a few weeks, I feel it improved. So this is a brand new reel. It doesn't even have line on the spool. So this is very premature to talk about the resistance. I think after I fish it a couple of weeks, it will feel perfect and it's not gonna bother me. I'm just reporting my out-of-the-box observations. There are some breaks here, and honestly, I doubt. For example, I have to work off of memory here, but I don't remember. I think this reel had 0 resistance out of the box. The old Presso feels a little plasticky, doesn't feel like the Vanquish over there or the Arities, but it was perfect out of the box, and it definitely, even today, you can tell, even today, it does have lower resistance than this one here. But again, I'm just trying to be helpful, but I don't want to encourage people getting so hung on splitting hairs about a little bit extra resistance. You know which group of anglers recently really bothers me? These BFS guys. Oh, this spool is 1 gram lighter, these bearings spin a little bit. You guys are going crazy. You guys are going nuts. You forgot that you're going fishing, not tackle. What is your hobby? The tackle or the fishing? I love tackle too, but my heart is in the fishing. And I can fish with any one of these 3 reels and enjoy my day on the water just the same. So I want you to get the right picture. A little bit of resistance, but not a deal breaker. I don't even think most people are going to notice it. And probably after 2 weeks, it will be better. 23 minutes. The last thing I want to say is that all 3 of these Luvias, smooth, quiet, all of that, they feel like plastic reels. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, it sounds derogatory, plastic, graphite, Chinese. But they just don't feel like the Vanquish or the Arities. By the way, the resistance on the Vanquish is different kind of, it's a different level. The Vanquish is the same. But yeah, the feel is, this will not be, I can tell you this with certainty already. I don't care what you do with this reel, it's not going to be a Vanquish or it's not going to be an Arity. It doesn't have the metally feel of the frame of the Arity. I do enjoy the Arity more than any of the Luvias versions that you can get. Actually, fun fact, I did order an Arity from Amazon Japan, the 500 size, STSF Arity, but I had to return it. There was a Arity that was $299 or something like this, shipped to United States. I thought, what a deal, and I bought it. It came with not some noise. Noise is, I know what noise is. It had some problems, a scratching, or something was scratching there, and I was not in the mood to open a brand new reel and fix scratching noises. Something was hitting, something was not straight and was touching something. I felt contact was too much. Sent it back, but goes to show you there's something going on. I said the Daiwa reels are more reliable than the Shimano reels, less reported issues, but I'm reporting issue with the Arity STSF. Watch out for these deals, guys. There are deals on Amazon and on eBay. When a reel is $50 cheaper than the market price, very often there is a reason it's $50 cheaper. It was purchased, somebody returned it, and they're selling it $50 cheaper to the dumb, fat, and stupid Americans. Derogatory attitude to Americans, but it's there. Be careful with these deals that you're getting. It's not always a deal. But yeah, it will never be an Arity. And while I'm here, I bought this reel, but I looked at the other prices. So I bought a little extra because I paid a little extra because I wanted somebody to buy it and inspect it and then ship it. But the people who ship it, they can ship it cheaper. The shops have discounts, they can ship it cheaper to you. But for me, it's more important to get a good reel. But the street price of this new Luvias STSF is almost the same as the Arity. Almost the same. But the Arity is one class higher than the Luvias reels. And if you get both of them in good condition, the Arity, I can tell you already, I should have saved this for the review, but the Arities feel better than the Luvias reels. And you're never gonna add one bearing here. And let me see, I haven't even opened this. Let's do this live, but quickly. You're never gonna send your reel to somebody who can open them and add the different bearings or oils or I don't know, this and that, and make it feel like an Arity, because the frame is plastic and in the Arity the frame is metal. It does have this plastic bushing here. I like to replace this plastic bushing here, not for better drag performance. I don't think this does anything to drag performance. But I replace it on all of them because, and by the way, you can find this in my shop. It's like $2.50 or $4, depending on which. I have several different options for that bearing, but I do sell it in my shop if anybody is interested. The only reason I put this bearing there instead of the plastic bushing is the final point of this video. Let's try to end the video before 30 minutes. Listen to the sound of this new STSF. I'll try to get it. Where is the microphone? I think it's right here. I'll try to, you're not gonna see it, but I'll try to get it close to the microphone. This is, I'm recording with iPhone, old iPhone. It doesn't sound as good. I showed it in many videos. I love the sound. I don't know what is the difference of the big Arity, the vanilla 2000 size. This is the model. More metallic-y, more crispy. Now I did replace the bushing with a bearing here, and I did open up the spring a little bit. I have a video about how to do this. So I will replace the plastic bushing with a bearing, and I will open the spring a little bit, and that does improve the sound a little bit, because when the spool rests on a metal bearing, it vibrates better, because the plastic bushing kills vibrations a little bit. The bearing itself has a little bit of free play built around the balls of the bearing. And I'm going on a tangent, but replacing the bushing with bearing improves the sound a little bit. Opening the spring a little bit improves additionally the sound a little bit. I'm going to do this, but I wanted you to hear the sound just out of the box. And to my ears, first of all, the volume is lower. Second of all, more plasticky, not as metallic-y as the Big Mama Vanilla Luvias 2000. Okay, I'm publishing this. Thank you guys for watching. There will be a few weeks of fishing first and then the review. Bye-bye.